Owning a home is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. And when something breaks, it can feel like the whole day unravels. That's why HomeServe exists. For as little as $4.99 a month, you'll always have someone to call. A trusted professional ready to help, bringing peace of mind to 4.5 million homeowners nationwide. For plans starting at just $4.99 a month, go to homeserve.com. That's homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs.
When Mother's Day means celebrating your mom, your wife, maybe even your daughter as a new mom, trust 1-800-Flowers to help you celebrate every important woman in your life. With double blooms from 1-800-Flowers, order 1 dozen roses and get another dozen for free. It's a simple way to give beautifully, with colorful blooms that make Mother's Day feel meaningful. For every mom you're celebrating, order with confidence and get double blooms at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
Welcome to the Black Tats. There's an African proverb that says, "He who is destined for power does not have to fight for it." There are often times that I am put in situations that affords me the opportunity to ask for things. And when I ask for things, I kind of have a sense of what I want, why I need it, why they should give it to me, and how it benefits the overall project or the company. There was this new network that was starting that was going to be under the Paramount brand, and it was an all-women's network. Black women. It was going to start with scripted and reality television. It was going to have a 3-hour block on Sunday, and then the rest of it would be filled with other programming that it licensed. The woman, a lawyer, had come up with the brainchild and thought it would be a great way to unify women, regardless of race, creed, or color, in terms of issues that reflect their current status in this country. She also believed that because you could group women regardless of color, if you showed shared ideas, that then they could become a stronger voting bloc, and by becoming a stronger voting bloc, could then make the necessary changes in society that made it equitable for everyone. Now, for me, I thought it was a dope plan. I was like, absolutely, I want to be a part of this. How can I help? What are you hiring for? Where can I get in to fit in? So in our initial meeting, we sat and we talked about programming ideas, marketing ideas, and what I thought, how we could go about creating buzz, creating opportunities for unknown writers, how we could create something that was short form around building the network prior to the launch with clips on YouTube and on Facebook. And she thought that was a brilliant idea. I was like, let's do it. It could be a unique movement and a groundswell that could really catch on very fast. The more we talked, the more she listened, the more ideas I threw out, the more she wrote. She asked me if I could put together a plan. And I was like, sure, no problem. And I put together a very PowerPoint presentation, broad strokes, nothing too definite, until I knew what I was going to get out of this. So it was a long weekend. I sent her the proposal. I sent her some stuff that I had put together, some shows that I was working on. And the following week, she was like, hey, can we get together? I was like, cool, no problem. I can make that happen. So I traveled my happy ass over to the Paramount lot, went into her office, and she's like, I want you to be a part of this. You are in this very interesting space of being a hybrid. And I was like, yeah, I'm very much a hybrid. I am both suit and creative. And because I balance them both, I understand from the suit perspective, things have to be done cost effectively, but have such a high value that it gives the impression we spent a lot of money, but actually we did it with minimal cost because we had a very specific way of shooting, and creatively that the language and the shows garner an interest from other individuals, particularly women, that would give them the talking points that they could share with their friends. she asked me, what would I want? And I was like, well, I'm not sure. Let me think about that, and let's recap towards the end of the week. She's like, great, no problem. She wanted me to see her business plan and her marketing strategy and asked me to kind of go through it and see if I could make some changes to it. I asked her about how she was designing her investment of money coming in. She said she was working on that she had an initial funding coming from Cablevision because they were going to be the particular distribution company that was going to distribute this new network. So I went through all the documents she gave me, and there were a lot of things that she was missing. A lot of things needed to be added and changed. I sent her some other things about creating a investment strategy using a 506D from the Security Exchange Commission, and how we could kind of use the initial seed money that she was receiving as the first money in. So when other investors came in, they could see, oh, she's got first money in. I feel more secure about adding to this process. Time came for us to sit down again, and she asked, okay, everything you're giving me, you're the missing piece. You're the thing that I didn't have. So what do you want? I said, I'm going to want percentage of the company. I'm going to want a 3-year contract. I'm going to want points off of anything that I create or anything that I bring to the table. I also am going to want to have the ability to run this as the day-to-day operations, kind of like a COO kind of space. But I also wanted to make sure that creatively that outlet was being answered as well, because in between my ears, I need both the practical and the creative. She agreed to everything. She didn't see anything wrong with my numbers. I came in a little high. There was a slight haggle, but at the end of the day, I got what I wanted. Now we're moving into staffing, and the individual who introduced me to this woman had plans of what he wanted to do, what he was going to ask for, other parties he was bringing in. And he found out that she made me a partner and didn't make him a partner. And that is where it all started to go wrong. So we're in this meeting with all the people that she has been working with. And the word is, I stepped on everybody's toes. Not sure how that was, knowing I went in with everything that she needed and everybody else was coming in trying to get in where they fit in. In the interim of all this, there was another company that had content that they were trying to get on the network. And she met with them privately without me. And then they knew who I was. And then they decided they were going to tell a lie about something that I did. Now, this became even more problematic, because the individual who was upset who brought me to the table, who didn't get anything, brought them to her to discredit who I was. The long and short of the story is, I had a client who had a script, who had raised $500,000. This group of producers wanted to do the script, but they wanted the $500,000 so that they could go to Canada, set up its business in Canada, and hope that they could get a grant from the government to pay for the film. And as they haggled back and forth with me, and I was like, he's not giving you the money he raised for you to go and do something else with it. The money that he raised is for the film. That is the structure of the contract is, and that money can't be used for anything other than that. That got turned into, I destroyed their deal because I wouldn't give them the money that was promised. So my boss/partner brought this to my attention. And she says, it raises some concerns about your character. And I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you text messages and email. And between the two of those, the truth lies. And then we can get back after you do that over the weekend, and we can see where we are at that point. Now, in the back of my head, I already knew that this was coming to an end, that as much as I was elated about doing this, I knew that this was not going to be a good fit for me anymore. Because once you question my character, and here's a very important thing to remember, you can't unring that bell. And so I have a choice where I could walk on eggshells or pick up all my marbles and walk away. So we have another meeting, and she goes to the emails and she went through the text messages and she goes, "I apologize." And I was like, "There's no need for you to apologize." She says, "No, I jumped to a conclusion, but I now understand that you keep receipts." I do, for things just like this. Time moves on. Everybody's upset. Everybody wants a piece of the company. She's like, "Malik, I don't know what to do. I want to keep these people on, but it's getting hostile, and everybody is not liking you, and they're ganging up together collectively, and they want to get rid of you. So I don't know what to do." And I said to her, "I do. I'm going to step back. I'm going to let you run your company with these individuals because I think you have a level of loyalty to them than to my skill sets and what I bring to the table. What we will then do is you will hire me as an outside consultant, and I will do what I do as I've done. You will compensate me for what I'm doing already, and then you can kind of go off into the sunset with the team you've already put together because they were dumb and they didn't know what to ask for. That's not my problem. And then we could all continue working. The headache you have is resolved. They'll be happy because then you can give them small pieces of the company and everybody gets a piece of the apple." She's like, "Are you sure that's something you want to do?" I think that's what has to get done. I step back, everything's moving forward, and then it all crashes. And the reason why it crashed, because the woman, though she is a lawyer, was not an entertainment lawyer or an IP lawyer. Her focus was healthcare, and she was stepping into the role of entertainment lawyer. And if you don't have those skill sets, they can be crazy. There's a lot of nuances in this business, and that becomes a problem for it. I want you to think about who you are, why you are, how much of a threat you are to people, and why you're a threat to people. At nothing that you've done, 9 times out of 10, it's the way you walk, the way you talk, your demeanor, the way you can explain things, the way you can think on your feet. That power, that tact, that thing that gives you that edge, people will do everything in their power to plant seeds in your head to make you believe you're not as talented as you are. I'm of a certain age and of a certain generation, and let me tell you, it's been going on since I was 7. I'm a long, 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 long way from 7. And I still hold on to my true principles that I'm that motherfucker. I'm the shit. Humble, knowing that I'm no better than anybody else and nobody is better than me, but I know what I'm capable of. And when I'm in spaces, as you have been or will be in spaces where people will question your tenacity, your intelligence, and your ability, you have to weigh the option to see what you think is best, not for the project, not for the company, but what's best for your mental health. You have to look way down the road to see if this is going to get better or it's only going to get worse. Remember, you are the prize when your talent is being used. Stay woke. We out.